Hey guys, welcome to Plant Today with Amy Ray. So as you remember, 3 weeks ago I planted a bunch of seeds in my grow lights. So here in front of me I have my Coleus mixture. It was a rainbow mix, and the pelleted seeds, the ones that were pelleted and coated, they are growing much slower than the seeds that were not coated. So I take that to mean I'm going to go with the non-pelleted seeds from now on. The pelleted seeds are finally germinating, but it just is taking so long. Like some of them are just now starting to germinate, and they're super tiny as compared to the non-pelleted seeds, which are ready to be transplanted. They're growing roots out of their seed pods, and so we are ready to transplant into bigger pots. So that's what we're going to be doing today. So we have our rainbow Coleus here. These are my pumpkins. 3 weeks, guys. This is only 3 weeks growth. These three are the mini pumpkins, and these three are the Halloween style jack-o'-lantern pumpkins. So they both look about the same. I've been hardening these off for the past about 4 days. So I started the first day with putting them outside in the shade for about 3 hours. The next day I went to 4 hours, and then I moved it to a slightly brighter spot, still not in direct sunlight, for most of the day. And then yesterday to today I left them out overnight, but still in a really shady spot. So they've been outside for over 24 hours now in a shady-ish spot. And so today I'll set them somewhere where tomorrow they'll get morning sun for close to 3 hours, just morning sun, and then they'd be in the shade. And then the following day I'll move it to a little bit brighter spot, and so on and so forth until they're in full sun all day, and then I'll transplant them into the garden. You can also direct seed pumpkins. Now's a good time to do it here in Houston. You could just put your seed directly where you want it to grow, and most people have great success doing it that way. I just chose to start them indoors for my ease, and my seeds tend to just do better starting indoors, so I did it that way. Also, I have my beefsteak tomatoes here that I'm also going to be transplanting into bigger pots. So each one of these will get its own pot. I'll leave one in this cell, and I'll take out the others. If there's any little tiny piddly ones, I'm just going to snip those out. I only want to keep the ones that are strong and will most likely give me a good plant. So this one has 1, 2, 3 really good ones. The other ones I'll snip out. So let's get started. All my other seeds I'll show you in a few minutes. They're just not ready to be transplanted yet. They're still growing well, but they are too tiny to be transplanted. You want to wait until your seedling has at least 2 sets of true leaves. So the little tiny baby leaves aren't true leaves. Those are just baby leaves. So I have, like, these are little baby leaves, but eventually you'll see the actual true leaves, and you want to have at least 2 sets of true leaves before you transplant. So here we have 2 to 3 sets of true leaves, which is perfect. All right, so I just have a bunch of old nursery pots here. I save most of the nursery pots that I buy at the store for times as this. And I'm just going to be using the same seed starting mix soil that I used to start all these seeds. So I'm going to leave the one that's in the middle and try to take out these other 2. So you want to be super gentle. I'm just going to stick a pencil all the way down and kind of start to fluff up the soil to see if I can separate these. They've already grown quite a web of roots here. So, have my one. I'm just going to make a nice little hole in here. And I want to plant this tomato super deep. So I'm going to plant it all the way up to its first set of true leaves. It's okay to bury those baby leaves. Tomatoes form roots everywhere those little hairs on the stem touch. So you want it to form a nice strong base, and it's especially important with tomato seedlings. If you buy a transplant at the store, you want to still plant it at least half of its size deep. So I'm going to go all the way up to its first set of true leaves. And then when it's time to plant it in the garden, I'll do the same thing. I'll plant it just as deep. Pack it down a little bit and then add a little more soil. There we go. I could have gone even a little bit deeper than that, but that's good. Okay, and then the one that was in its original pot, I'm just going to kind of pack it down and add some more soil. And then I'm going to water these in with water with fertilizer in it, but it's going to be at half strength. Water-soluble fertilizer at half strength for your little seedlings. Okay. So I'm just going to continue to do that for the rest of my tomatoes. All right. Beautiful. I have 6, 7, 8, 9, 11 tomato plants here, and you can water these either from the top or the bottom. A lot of people like to bottom water still, even at this stage. I bottom watered for all of their life so far. Like, I would just put water in the bottom of the tray and let the roots soak it up. But at this point, you can also just water from the top as long as it's a very gentle stream. And again, I'll do half strength fertilizer in my water. Yay! All right, so for the Coleus, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just be placing them into a pot. So what I'm going to do is take the little pod that it's in and I'm just going to slightly break the netting, just so I can let those roots freely get out. Okay, so I'm just going to open the bottom like that and put it in to soil and water it very thoroughly, and it'll start to grow like this. I'm not going to thin them out. Some people will and will choose to do that, but I'm going to let them go and see how they turn out, because even these little babies are doing pretty well. And if some of the little baby ones die off, that's fine, no harm done, but the rest of them are doing really well, so I'm going to leave it like that. So for the Coleus, I'm going to use regular potting soil because it's got a really good root system and it should be able to do fine in regular potting soil. So here's a little update on the other seedlings. So here we have some more Coleus, but this is King Coleus, so it's going to get really big. And I believe these seeds were also pelleted, so that's why it's taking so long. So far, only about a 50% germination rate on those. This is basil, and you can see it's got some true leaves there, doing really well. Back there is Tigerella tomatoes, and up front is little sweetie cherry tomatoes. I have a little bit of yellowing of the leaves, so I'm going to do some research on that. I'm pretty sure it's a nitrogen thing. I've been using seaweed fertilizer in my water, but I might need to add something else there. This row was amaranth, and a few of them germinated, but eventually just died out. So I'm not sure what was up with that. So I'm going to reseed this amaranth to try again. Here I have blue fescue grass, and I have pretty much 90% germination rate in these pods. Those are doing well. Here I have alyssum flowers, about a 85% germination rate. And this is lettuce. The lettuce, this is the biggest it's gotten so far, and I'm not sure if it's because it's a little bit too hot here in my garage. I do have a fan blowing. I've had a fan blowing for 2 weeks now, but and I did reseed some of these pods because I had some come up and then they must have dampened off or something and they just kind of fell over and died, like this guy. So I took those out and reseeded, and a bunch of those have regerminated. So I might be moving some of these inside to see if the lettuce would do better in the colder environment. Other than that, so my duds were the cucumber muncher variety and the black creme tomatoes. I was really concerned about the black cremes because when I found these seeds at Home Depot, the packet had looked like it might have gotten wet, but there was only one left that's okay. So my video camera did not start recording for some reason, so it missed all of the Coleus transplants. But basically, like I said, I stuck the little seed pod in potting soil, regular potting soil, and I just filled it up around and packed it down and made sure that they were all in there nice and snug. And so I did all of the big Coleus that way, and here they are under the lights now. So we have around 12 total big pots like that, which is a great value for your money. Here's the little ones that are not quite ready to be transplanted yet. I just stuck them back, watered them good, and stuck them back under the lights. I have 4 more over here. Yeah, super good value. This is 1 bag of seed, and that cost me about $2 to $3. All of these pots are recycled, and so since I used recycled pots and potting soil is about $3, So in total, you know, I have invested approximately less than $10 on these Coleus, and each one of these bought at Home Depot or so would be about $3. Sometimes you even see them for like $5. Once they're bigger, they start charging more. And so this is just a great value. It's super fun. Coleus are super easy to plant from seed. You could do it outside. You don't need grow lights. You know, once they germinate, just make sure they're in a nice bright lighted spot, and they do great. I'll show you some Coleus that I also were able to propagate. Coleus is a super easy propagated plant, so I'll show you how I do that. As you can see right here, I cut off this Coleus right here. It's already hardened off, and it's growing little babies all along here. I lopped off a lot of this Coleus and I went and stuck it in water, which I'll show you. So I made myself a beautiful little vase here for the kitchen table. It has Coleus and Purple Queen in it. And so this Coleus, this has been in here for about 4 days now, and I haven't even changed the water out yet, but it still looks nice and beautiful. It's already starting to form some roots there at that juncture, but it'll also start to have some come out of the bottom. So once I see a good bit of roots, then I can plant this in some soil. And that's the easiest way to grow Coleus because it's kind of foolproof, because you can see the roots and know for sure that it's rooted and will do well. So Coleus is just a beautiful plant. Got some pink in here. There's so many different varieties and colors. So do some research and see what kind of colors you would like the best. It does best in partial sun, even to shade. The more sun it gets, the brighter the colors will be though. So I hope this inspired you to go plant today.